Welcome to the Love Pod, where inspiration, vision, and real connection come alive. Wherever you are, you belong here.
Welcome to the Love Pod, everyone. I am your host, Nathaniel. I'm so thrilled to be here with everyone today and to welcome our special guest, uh, David Iya, who is just a phenomenal builder. Um, I I'm just so thrilled, David. Like, I don't know if I'm sorry, I'm getting some feedback here on. For some reason, I can hear myself in echo, so I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty. So I part of it. Okay, I'm sorry, David. Self and echo, so I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty. So I part of it. I'm gonna stop this and restart it. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry, David. Self and echo, so I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty. So I okay. David, can you hear me, man? I'm sorry. We're having a real community start here. I'd love to just welcome you on. You have such an impressive resume. You're a Forbes 30 under 30. You're a Y Combinator alum, and you've helped 30 companies over the world generate over $70 million dollars in online transactions. And now you've come onto school, and you are just like changing the growth patterns, the games. You're introducing, just all these creative, innovative concepts to your building. You've gone from like zero to over 1,000 members in like a month, and you've raised to like top 15 in the money category in just a short while, which is like unheard of. It's really been impressive. And your community actually came to me in a dream. And now that I'm knowing more about you and your bio and why you're doing what you're doing, your daughter Zara was diagnosed with a rare Russell syndrome, a rare medical condition, which I will admit I don't know much about. So I just love to welcome you, David, and to tell our audience who you are. I know there's a lot of people who want to know more about you and just to connect with the man behind this amazing growth.
Oh man, thank you so much for that intro, Nathaniel. I'm humbled. Yeah, appreciate that. That means a lot. Hi everybody, I am David Iya. Um, yeah, I it's so funny. I'm not that good at intros, so I don't really know what to say. But really, I mean, the main thing that drives me is purpose. I love to create, and I just love to build. And my parents, they moved here to the US. They like moved here from Nigeria in 1987.
Okay.
And just as a kid, just watching everything that they sacrificed to give me and my like siblings a like really good life. And like truly, there's not been a night or a day where they've not prayed for me. I really contribute my life and everything that I've accomplished to their prayers. And so really my main purpose is family and, just purpose. I feel like time is like the most valuable currency in the entire universe, and so many of us waste it. And so it's funny. I mean, that intro, as good as it sounds, the last 8 years of my life have been building a startup that wasn't my passion,
Mm,
and it really didn't bring me joy.
mm.
And so after my like daughter came, it was like, man, like she's gonna be watching me. She's gonna be watching my life. She's gonna be watching the words I say. Even funny enough, I used to stutter terribly. Like honestly, until maybe like last year. And
Wow.
when I found out, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have a girl coming in 9 months, it almost like changed my like DNA. And
Amazing.
yeah, it like really just like something clicked to where like, man, I've got to set the example with everything that I do. And I really believe that how you do anything is how you do everything.
Mm.
I've really taken that principle and just tried to spread it across every like area and like facet of my life.
Well, man, I can tell from the way that you build things, like you are certainly a first principles guy. And I mean, it's amazing just to hear that transformation. I also have a young daughter, and I know how transformative it has been. Like basically it is the heart of Lightheart Vision. You'll see her in the outro, and her name Luciana means light, and I feel like these little ones, I don't know about you, man, but to me they are our greatest leaders and our greatest teachers. They just
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
live with open hearts. They're just such a presence. And really the greatest miracle I ever saw, and why we're doing this, is we had a natural home birth, and I had the opportunity of catching our daughter, and she looked right in my eyes with the most amazing presence. And then she turned and, without any confusion, knew exactly where her mother was in the room, looked in her eyes. And my background is actually in Indigenous wellness, and I spoke for years before this. I've talked to our students, and like we're born from a seed and an egg. We're walking miracles. We've normalized it, but actually the act of catching her and seeing new life emerge and just how miraculous it is, it reminded me that we all come from this, and business is a way that we can really serve people to uplift and grow. But I love how this has been transformative for you, and really helping kind of change the paradigm and creating more space and time for families, and making business that is for that most important aspect that we're connecting, man. I love that.
Oh man, thank you. No, and it's so cool what you said about a home birth. It's funny, like we had planned one too. And there's almost like this like naivety about that a birth is so easy and it can just happen and come, right? But like things for us went the like opposite way that we planned. But to your point, it really made me realize like how magical life is. Like from the 9 months to the birth process, like it really doesn't just happen, right? Like
Yeah.
things have to fall and work in the perfect way for life to come. And yeah, I just think that it's so beautiful, honestly.
Yeah, well, you know what? Things didn't go according to our plan anyways. Julia, I created this whole birth affirmation wall. We did so much preparation to help her physically prepare. She did so much meditation, inner work. She was afraid of dying, actually, and we almost got to that place, man. It was interesting how it all happened. We had a naturopathic doctor who was a doula and totally out of the medical system was there, and she was scheduled to go to India in a few days, and like all this kind of synchronicities happened, that the birth was actually about a couple weeks earlier than we were expecting. And it was because I was doing myofascial massage on her sacrum. It actually caused the placenta it caused the process to start earlier,
No.
unknowingly. That was not intentional. But what happened was, because her placenta decoupled not all at once, it caused a tear, and she actually lost almost like 2 pints of blood. Like it
Oh
was,
my,
yeah. So she was fading, and because we had done so much like breath work and meditation, I activated EMS, but I was able to keep her present and conscious. And the doctor had some homeopathic remedy to stop the bleeding and everything. But yeah, you're right, man. It's like there's a fragility to life, and we really need to show up as in our authentic presence, especially as fathers, as men, to really be there for our family. I think it really does change your perspective of like, not only legacy, but like the example we're setting. So I really love that, your daughter Zara has, had this impact. Can you share with our audience more about what is that condition of Silver Russell syndrome, and what does it mean? How has it
yeah,
impacted your life as a family?
yeah, I'm sure. And then also forgive me, my laptop is gonna die, so let me plug it in.
Oh no, of course. We're having one of those technical That's never happened
Yeah,
to me before. At
yeah.
the beginning, I was like, whoa.
Terrible timing. But let me make sure you come back up.
Yeah.
Um, I just lost you.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Okay. Hey man, this is just one of those days.
Can
It's
you
all
guys
all
see me
good.
still?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother. You're good to go, and you're on video,
Okay,
so no worries.
okay. My screen just went completely black. I don't.
Oh,
This has
it flickered
literally
on.
never happened.
Oh man. Okay, I can see you. So
Ah,
now
I
you're on the all good, brother. We got to laugh
I'm
at this,
literally speechless. This has never happened in my life. Um,
That's so funny. Oh man. So
um, wow. I don't know what to do actually. Let me try to connect from
okay.
just from my phone. Yes,
All
yeah.
good. All good. We're playing the Zoom game. You know, it reminds me of the early days of all the lockdowns and everyone was figuring out the game. And I think we all heard you're muted like 1,000 times or like all these technical things happen,
I
right?
feel like I'm talking to myself. All
Yeah.
right, cool. I'm gonna join from my phone, and so I'll be
Okay.
right back.
Okay, cool. And we can hear you, so it's all good. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Okay, cool. Then do you want to mute me
sure. I will
on
mute
this
you.
so that there's
Well, I mean, while we're in this beautiful intermission, on this topic of the miracle of children, this is, spurred on a an operating system. I really like to think of it as a community operating system, David, where uh, if we start looking at life, like you mentioned the magic in life, do you remember how you used to see life when you were a young boy? Like, do you remember that feeling of magic? I mean, we just kind of coming out of the Christmas time. Do you remember the difference and like the palpable difference of how we experienced life from those early years?
That's a really good question. And my daughter has reminded me about that. Even though like word says to have like a childlike faith. And one of the coolest things has been watching her experience life for the first time. Like I remember our first bath and she saw like water and she
Mm,
was just like touching it and like moving her hand, or like
yeah.
she's just always been very like attentive to everything going like around. So there was one day that I was like holding her and she saw a like butterfly. And she like noticed it, right? And like went, ah, and tracked it. And it's just so like she's reminding me of the things that we forget as we grow older. And I'll tell you the like story about her. But one like the best way to describe it is like I feel like the older we get, there's so many distractions and there's weight that comes into life and there's things that we like worry about. And it's almost like she injected color into my world. If
Mm.
that makes any like as like corny as it sounds, it's like,
Oh man, it's beautiful.
yeah, she just completely changed how like the lens that I see life through.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. To answer your question, so we were in the NICU for about 55 days.
Okay.
And
Wow.
so she came about 3 weeks early. She was born at 3 pounds and 5 ounces.
Wow.
And so she was like a super preemie. And we had been planning a home birth. She came and like it was so crazy because our like midwives called us. We were on so the day um um was like Valentine's Day. And so me and my wife were headed to get some like pho because we love pho. And on the drive there, we get a call from our like midwives, and they're like, "Hey, we're looking at your last ultrasound. I know you guys don't want to hear this, but you might want to pack a night bag and head to the hospital
Mm.
ASAP." And so we're like, "What's going on?" And my wife's like, so her like ambiotic fluids had been at an 8, and like the past like day it dropped to a 1. And so we're
Wow.
like, oh, like wow, like this can be really really scary. And so yeah, we
Yeah.
like turn around, we head there, and after like an hour of like talking, they're kind of like, hey guys, like we don't want to say the words, but if you wait any longer, this can lead to
Wow.
like an unsuccessful birth. And so she comes early, and for the next 50 days, it's this issue of her breathing really fast. And so
Okay.
usually like babies like like they like shouldn't breathe more than like 60 breaths per second. And so we were
Okay.
even trained that when we feed her um um that her like respiratory rate should never pass an 80 while we're
Okay.
feeding her.
Yeah.
But it got to the point that she would just be sleeping and like it would be like 90 plus.
Wow.
And so it led us to this like rabbit hole of like what's going on, what's causing it, so on and so forth. And after talking to so many different doctors, we finally figured out that she had this rare genetic syndrome called Silver Russell syndrome. And it's extremely rare. Actually, only 1 in 2 million people have it. And so
Wow.
less than 5,000 children have her specific case. And I mean, I'm just so thankful because it can be mild, it can be super heavy, but it affects their like growth, and then it can affect like how they actually like develop as well.
Okay.
But thankfully, she's like on pace, she's on track how she should be. It's really cool because it affects their growth in two ways, where like they just don't get hungry. And so when they don't get hungry, then they can get like hypoglycemic, and then that can even lead to like autism. And then in another way, they can eat what we would eat. So like we'll like eat a steak and we'll maybe gain like a few ounces. And like for them, like they can eat what we eat, but they just will not grow how they should.
Okay.
And so like even her, she's still like 9 pounds, 10 ounces. But yeah, she's just super, super precious. And it's cool. Like they have their own like chart of growth, and she's on pace. So
Okay. That's
yeah, we're
amazing.
thankful. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've seen photos of her, David. She's just such a beautiful girl. I mean,
Thank you.
I can see your heart in all the building that you do. I really feel like you've brought such a unique community presence to school itself. Like, I mean, I'm wearing the gear. This was a Christmas present from Julia.
I love that.
Yeah, and I love school because I feel like it's a place of real, authentic community where we're all coming together and bringing our whole selves. Can you talk about like what brought you to school? And like you have such an impressive background. I got to admit, when I first saw your thing, it was through Magnetic Memberships. So I was like, and we've had Dr. Steve on the show as well. And I was like, I don't know about this guy. He's talking about billionaires and he's talking about all this stuff. And then I know that I had some interactions with you. I'm like, this guy is just like salt of the earth, and you're really good at building, and you've done some innovative things. So like, yeah, what has been your journey to school, and what is your like? It feels like too, like you're kind of going with the flow. Like it's a lot of it's new stuff, right? And I know there's pressures that come when a community grows so quickly. So I'd love to hear more
Yeah.
about that journey.
Yeah. Honestly, it's leading with purpose. I like heavily believe in like that like words are extremely powerful,
Mm,
and the words that we speak have life to them. And so, you know, through my time at Y Combinator, through building my own startup, it's always been focused on metrics, right? It's like,
mm,
what is your like MRR? How much are you gonna make? And then you bring like these investors on, and it even gets more serious. It's like, um, yeah, it's just so metric focused.
yeah.
And going back to my old point, like for the past 8 years, I was building this startup and we scaled it worldwide. We had thousands of users, but man, there were days where it felt empty. There were days where we would be at dinners and yeah, like I don't know, before I started my own company, I just loved to create. And so I served at like church and I would love to like write and I just like love people.
Yeah.
I really love people. And through my startup, I kind of saw myself like sacrificing
Mm,
time with people for the sake of building and for the sake of impressing investors. And so I really wanted to recreate that script. And so you are right. With school, I've been learning in real time. Like honestly, every day is so new. I'm super thankful to the help of other community owners that have given me advice.
mm,
So like Shannon Boyer, she
mhm,
owns like a really good group. And it's funny, I think actually during the early days, I almost got lost in engagement. Like, oh, let's get our fire, or like let's
mhm,
race to first place, just all of these like superficial things. And
mhm.
it was Shannon Boyer and Eva Raposa, owner of Connect and Collab and the
Yep.
Classifieds. And they really called me out. I I love feedback. I love feedback from friends. I love feedback when I'm building any like business. I think that in the like business world, you will always find your first customers by just asking for feedback. But I can
Mm,
contribute my own personal growth from feedback from friends. I actually used to be so like defensive.
mm,
Um like so defensive. Like yeah. And I realized that I would grow so much faster when friends would give me honest feedback, and
yeah.
usually it would hurt.
Mm,
But it kind of clicked something that like the more it hurts, actually, the more real that feedback is. And so now, like almost every year, every quarter, I'll ask my friends for feedback, and I feel like feedback is the fastest way to grow.
mm,
And so Shannon and Eva called me out. They were like, "Hey, David, like this engagement is fun, but." They said this, I'll never forget. They said don't forget that you can fall as fast as you rise.
mm.
And um so yeah, like when they said that, I said, man, thank you so much. Like what can I do differently? And they said, never forget why people joined your group in the first place. and always lead with value. And so that completely changed how I run my school. I mean, like every post like that I write, I'll like spend like an hour or so really crafting each post to make sure that it brings value, and that it's all connected to the big picture, right? Which is for people to grow, but then for people to learn how to actually make money and build something that like outlast now. And yeah, so that's really been my like vision behind everything that I do on school.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you sharing that. And purpose, I feel is going to be it's going to be the big, put in entrepreneurial terms, the big problem. I mean, there's a lot of talk of all the emergent technologies. There's people on both sides of the fence. Some people are like super hyped about it. It's going to change everything. And I do think AI is going to be more impactful than the internet, if we can even imagine that. And on the other side of the fence, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of people not only worried about being replaced, but like what are the consequences of this technology and stuff. And there's a lot of AI communities in school, but you've found a unique way of really using AI to empower businesses in a way that's like you said, it does feel like it's in real time, like you're iterating, you're evolving. You've created really interesting systems that support school. And I know you're building School Connect, which I'm really interested in knowing more about. I don't know if you want to reveal anything on the show here, or but one of the problems I've noticed on school is there's a tendency to work in isolation. And this is a problem outside of school too. And we recognize this, and why we started Lightheart Vision was we really want to be a vehicle for helping build conscious bridges between communities. We're not trying to be the best community or anything. Like, we really believe that we can co-create world enlightenment, but it happens when we all hold hands and we're all coming from a purpose-driven place. We're all having like that unconditional love that Christ taught us about, that other masters have demonstrated, that but our consciousness is powerful. Like you said, there's life in our words, and we need to raise our consciousness. I would even go so far as to say our spiritual maturity to meet some of these emergent technologies that are coming. What do you have to say about that, man?
No, I think that you hit the nail on the head. I like, so two things. Even still on school, and you've probably seen it too. You can tell when a reply is like AI generated, right? There's like M dashes. There's a formula. They'll ask a question, compliment, ask a question, and it's like a formula,
Yeah.
right? And then for me, school has been so refreshing. I think that like it almost feels like MySpace in the early days, like Facebook, where you would like have really good conversations with people, and like you would get on it and you would feel like you're genuinely connecting with somebody across the globe. And I don't want to like bash any social media platform, but I do think that like there's, yeah, like we've kind of like entered the age of slop and of
Yeah.
doom scrolling,
Yeah.
and like it's bad, like to the point that you would pick up your phone and you're like, okay, I'm gonna text my mom, and then you're on Instagram and
Yeah.
you're scrolling, then you're like, oh my goodness, I'm still here, and then you find yourself in that loop. Like, again, since starting school, like it's been obsessive, and it's because there's so much value, there's so much growth, and really there's so much connection.
Yeah.
um Really, I contribute my first like 100 to 200 members to connecting, just connecting in other groups and leading with value. And so really like finding other like what I would do is I would join a group and I would search questions and I would look on the like help or support thread for people that are having problems or having blockers, and then just answer their questions. And then I would find posts that I like and I would just talk to people, and
Yeah.
it creates this organic conversation that you attract what you want.
Mhm.
And it worked, but it's really hard to navigate school, right? Like you have to go to the drop down and click a group, and then and like it took a lot of time. I found myself spending like 6 to 8 hours just connecting
Yeah.
with people, and so that's what birthed School um, Connect. And really, it's a tool that is going to help people like um be present in several different communities at the same time. And so
Okay.
imagine your like Chrome window, and it'll learn your voice. It'll like extract like answers that you've responded to. It'll extract different things that you've said, and then in the side window it'll automatically pull like posts and pull like things that you can bring value to,
Okay.
then like generate responses that are like manually approved and like tweaked by you. And so the like vision for it is that like you can converse with people more, and then at the like end of each day it'll kind of like give you a like recap of like the most valuable talks that you've had with people, and the like most likely people that you are I'm like butchering this. I slept for like 3 hours, but like it'll like bring you
I'm following you, man.
the people that you're like most likely to truly vibe with.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what, man? I mean, if I were to summarize that, I say you're solving the problem of digital bilocation, like and
Well articulated.
that's really cool. I too, I actually, I've had two dreams with Sam ovens in them. One, I was like looking at the coding and I'm not a coder. I find it very interesting. I'd love to be able to read it and write it, but I mean, nowadays with AI. But I was looking at the system, and I've been I've also identified this problem where I could spend days just, going and replying. And what's interesting about school is like you see all the people in different communities that you're connected with. And if you follow them, and I've actually had to unfollow like almost everybody because of my neurodivergent brain, I was just like constantly getting like pulled and
Yeah.
just to have that more focus. So if we can be more deliberate, I've thought a lot about what are the spaces in between the communities. And that was the last dream that I had with him. I was actually, having a conversation with him. As weird as it sounds, this is not normal for me, but I had so many school dreams. Maybe it's because I'm spending so much time on the
That's
thing.
awesome though.
Well, and what the thing that came, the words that came after, I'd love to have a conversation with him one day because it was the template gaps. And so it was like the community, every community is like a template. So for those of you who maybe don't know school, well, you can check out in the thing, you can join actually David's community live time. And he has this crazy affiliate offer. I'll just plug in right now. He has 100% commission for 60 days of people promoting his thing. Anyways, we can get into that. But I like school, when you get on there, a lot of people come onto it, and it's because I find the UI and the UX is so simple and it's so different than other social media platforms. I feel like people get confused by the simplicity of the system, and then they kind of like they can drop off the map, and we don't see them again for maybe a while. Or I'm sure people will be more active on there in the future, but I I noticed that every community has a template. You start and it has like you have a class, you have the community, you have the classroom, you have the map, which is really cool because you can see where everyone in your community is. But there's this gap that's kind of under the radar with school, and you're tapping into it, Dave. And that's what I find really fascinating about you. You're like really like a no box thinker because it's like the relationships between the communities is really in that space. And I'm inspired. I've been inspired with XR spaces. I have a friend who's in web VR, and I've worked on a few projects to create for Lightheart Vision an XR interactive space. And I would love to see school evolve. Like I feel like I'm here to help contribute to the evolution of school. And that's what fascinates me so much about you, because I see you like doing it in real time, and you have skill sets that I do not have. And I'm inspired. So I just want to say thank you. Thanks
Oh
for
man.
being you, man.
No, thank you so much. That is extremely humbling. I want to say, I think it's amazing that you have dreams. So my mom has dreams, but like I call them more so like visions. She'll have a dream of something and it'll happen like days later, weeks later. And they're not often. And so whenever she comes to me, like, David, this dream hit, and I'm like, oh snap. Like, yeah. And so, yeah, I think that that's really cool. To your point, there's definitely gaps in between communities. And, School Connect has evolved. I think at first the vision was to build what I explained, but now it's kind of pivoted to building solutions to problems that I've seen. So even just like DMs are really frustrating. Like right now, I have like over 100 to go through. And
Wow.
when you respond, it'll automatically scroll you back up to the top.
Mhm.
Actually, like if I was on my computer, I would like share my screen and show you. So I've like worked on a tool that now you can hit expand, and it creates a full window of all of your DMs that you can like search through, and you can respond to them right from there. Or
Wow.
just really like, yeah, like even just things that it's hard to like save a post, then go like back to it. And so it's kind of evolved into like school tools, and it's this suite of like 9 different tools that just solve problems that I've seen. Like even just another problem that I've seen is there's the like members that first joined, and then there's the wave of new people
Hmm.
that come on board. And Nate Herc, he had an incredible post in Schoolers like a week and a half ago, and he said that like if you get new members and they join your group and they feel like they are like overwhelmed, they're gonna leave.
Hmm.
And so you'll notice I always try to post like a map that easily helps people to like navigate. Um,
Okay.
yeah, like once they join. And so now I'm like working on a tab kind of that will exist right between like community classroom that's like onboarding. And so whenever
Okay.
somebody joins, they can automatically see like what to do and where to go. I agree with you. I think that the power of school is that it is so simple and it's very easy to use, but there's definitely a lot of ways that it can be improved, and I'm excited to be a part of that.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. And I think this is one of the great things about it as a, like an authentic, like you couldn't say that on Facebook. Like I'm improving Facebook. Like
Yeah,
like it's just unheard of, right? And like
yeah,
I feel like there's a paradigm shift that's occurring. Not only is it, like I love the mission of school. It's like bringing a community to 1 billion people. I want to expand that. I mean, I really do believe like our acronym for it, David, is home. I want everyone to be at home on earth. And to me, home is heaven on Mother Earth. I feel like it is our role as stewards to
like that.
literally bring that state of consciousness that Christ told us, like heaven is within, it's near and now. And in the letters, I don't know if I mentioned the letters, because you did look at our about page, but in them he explains further that it's about a state of consciousness of unconditional love and really recognizing the interconnectedness of all of us, including with one another, but also with the land and with our creator. And an elder told me this once. I'll always remember this. I think about it every day. You honor the creator when you're creative. And
Mm, I love that.
you're an example of that, man. And I love that you can bring your gifts into school and just and shine. And also this idea that we can like all boats can rise together. You're helping a lot of people make their first incomes and giving them tools to actually solve real problems. I mean, you have like Pandora's box where I think I read a post you had like a group of people in your, I don't know if it's the Y Combinator experience where you would like bounce a lot of business ideas and then you collected all these like live tools. So that lives in your classroom and you have a lot of interesting kind of value adds that you've added to this ecosystem of school as a whole, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. And really that's been my main like mission, just to lead with value and not pay for it. Just when you give value for free, people will stay and they'll stick. And it creates this world that you can now say almost anything, or you can encourage people to do almost anything and they'll listen, right? I think that on Facebook, like Facebook is a really tense place because it's you can post your opinion and there's tension. People want to fight, want to argue, but like for some interesting reason on school, you can encourage people to go outside
Mhm.
and they'll go outside. You can encourage people to be present with the people that are like around them and they'll do that. And it creates this like reality that people are only going to join if they're your people. And so now you have a really cool place. Like there's people that talk about scripture, that talk about God, or books that have changed their lives. And like I truly believe that iron sharpens iron, and I've never seen a better community to allow that to happen and just foster that iron sharpening almost every day. Especially when you're able to keep a good balance of value, but then also you're not just bringing value for business, you're bringing value for like personal growth too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really what community is about, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, we all want really the same things, just in different expressions, right? We all want to be healthy. We all want to be happy. We all want to be wealthy. And we all want all of our loved ones to be well and to have good relationships. It's very basic to species, I would say. And school is a place I agree with you that that tension is not there. I do notice it with sometimes like new folks coming in, like if they have a heavy marketing or promotional background, they come in and try to, to come in with that edge, and it just doesn't fit. So they either have to change and adapt, or they kind of get bounced out because they get reported so many
Yep.
times.
Yep. Yep.
So that wholeness is really encouraged. Yeah, I agree with you, man. And iron sharpening iron. Can you talk about that? I mean, that feels like a first principle kind of thing. Like it reminds me of Stephen Covey. This idea of sharpening the blade. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so a large part of my story, honestly, is comparison. So my parents would always tell us, like, David, you are going to school to study, not to make friends. And so, like, we were just pushed to study. And so my oldest brother, he became so now he is a um, doctor. And then my like older brother went to Duke and then Harvard, and now he's doing law. And then my like little sister also went to Harvard. And so for me, there was always this weight of like what am I gonna do? And I would have friends tell me, "Oh, David, like what are you gonna do, Mr. Harvard?" And it was like it created this like for several years it created depression and anxiety because it was like, okay, I have these massive shoes to fill. Um, and like that really didn't change until I got surrounded with like-minded people that would fill me up and fuel me with like, no, David, like this is what you are good at. And like so tap into that. And there's this really interesting study that like I read like 3 to like 4 years ago, and they did this 100-year study over like 50 to 100 different men of like what actually brings happiness.
Mm.
And so they like asked them questions over like 100 years, and what they found is that community and relationships over anything is what brings value. It doesn't matter how much money you had. It doesn't even matter where you lived, whether you live on a beach, whether you live in yeah, like it's the people that you live life with. And so, really, I mean, for me, it goes back to feedback. I think that because of this like comparison that I carried for so long, my siblings would give me feedback, and I wouldn't listen because it was kind of like, but I'm not you, I don't want to. And it wasn't until I really started to listen to them and like accept like, know what? And like it's funny because yeah, like one thing that I truly believe is that if somebody gives you feedback that they know might hurt you, they genuinely love you.
Mm.
And that's something that my siblings did my entire life.
Yeah.
And it didn't really hit me until the lens that I saw life through change and said, man, like I'm not competing with them. They actually love me and they want me to succeed, whether I do what they've done or something different.
Yeah.
And that has just transpired to friends, to like business partners. Yeah. And really I believe that when you speak in truth and when you speak in love, you sharpen another person. And everybody has something to give and something to um yeah. Um yeah, like something um I cannot dodge it. And something to like learn from. So yeah. I just feel like when you create a space where people are always giving feedback and
Yeah.
encouraging, then everyone gets better at an accelerated rate, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can attest. I have a real life example and testimonial for you. Like I was just dabbling in your community. I really, I don't want to say how many communities that I have joined, and I've realized like I really have to, like I've capped it now. Like there's no more joining communities. But, I would go in your community a lot. I would notice there was this game, and I've noticed in other communities too. Like as soon as you would post, there would be this stream of people that would be like first, second, third, fourth, and like no one's adding any value, and it would annoy me. Like, and I would often in other communities, I would be like, first what? I'd always ask a question. I'd try to spur some kind of conscious like, what do you mean first? Well, I'm first to comment, and then well, I'm first to comment. It's a game, and I'm like, well, what value? I would ask a question. What value is this adding? And then I
Yeah.
was thinking about you, and I was thinking, because I saw how fast your community was growing. I'm like, man, it must be such a burden for David and I would see sometimes you'd go emojis and you like, and as a community builder, you have to be kind. It's hard to give like, especially you're creating a welcome environment, be like, don't do that. So then I just posted one time, I said, uh, what value, I asked, what value does this ask at all? And then I directly responded to one of your things and I said, like, I don't like commenting when I see these posts because I feel like, A, you know, is my comment even going to be read or valued if this is the game that's playing? And you immediately, you know, took that feedback, and there was a few other people that said, yeah, yeah, I agree. And then you changed the game. And I think this is like we're in this fast-paced time, you know, like there is so much AI. I had this weird experience, man. Yesterday, there's this guy that joined a community, never engaged. Like a couple days ago, I messaged him, DM'd, took a couple days to respond, and he literally copied my DM to him, and then back to me. He must have made an error. He copied it and then wrote, "Write me a good response to this," and then sent me the response. And then I said, "Dude, are you an AI?" And he's like, and then his only response was, "No, I'm not." And I'm like, well, are you gonna explain your, like, clearly you're using AI. Like, can't you just write me a real message? Like, I'm a human
Yeah,
being. So, you know,
yeah,
like, so we're in this time of like fast change, and we have to navigate. So, anyways, I appreciate you. What is your strategy now moving forward? Like, you've grown this big community. Obviously, there's only one of you. And all those moments that you're spending on community are moments away from your daughter. And so,
yeah.
like, how are you planning on balancing this and leveraging a lot of the tools that you're building?
Yeah, that's a really good question. First, I want to touch on the day that you posted about the first place race. That was a heavy day for me because I had a community leader like leave my group that day, and she was like, so like it was the day that I had posted about the like fire challenge, and she was like, "Hey, I'm too busy to worry about fire challenges," and so like I'm a very like emotional person, so I was like, "Oh man." And so I think that like as a leader, you want to like you want everybody to feel at home. And so thank you for that comment because I remember when you posted, I was like, oh man, right? And like it's funny because I had asked for feedback, but then when you get it, it's still like stings. And so that day, it made me realize, okay, like I like instead of getting offended, let me actually see what's going on here. And I even asked the person that left, man, like, what can I do better? And she said, you know what? The most important people in your group will leave quietly if you don't lead with value. And so when you share that, I really tapped into it. I was like, man, like Nathaniel, like thank you for that. Like, what do you think that that's blocking? And the main thing that it blocks is valuable conversation. And to me, that's the main reason that I made the space for people to actually connect. To your question, you'll notice that because so I heavily believe in like power hours, and so you'll notice that like sometimes I'm online and then sometimes I'm gone, and then some weeks I'm super present, and then some weeks I'm just with my family. Because if not, you can get consumed by it, right? And you can get obsessed with it. And I think that there was a short window, maybe like day like 10 to 20, where like I was just on my phone at all times and I was on my computer at all times. It was like school's growing. I like must foster it. But as like like all things work, there's power in balance. And so that's really been something that I've tried to like foster that yes, this is fun and it requires my attention, but no one requires more attention than my wife and my daughter.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that when you're able to like structure like a really good cadence for when you give it time, but then when you say, know what, now it's done and you like pivot, then that's really when you can create that balance.
I think that's really important, you know, setting those boundaries. It reminds me of one book you might have heard of it. It's called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, and he talks about how we
Oh,
use time.
right.
It's a really good book, and he actually talks about like actually because we're the source of time. People often talk about time being this like I'm a victim of time. I'm too busy to do that. Like I don't have time. But really, you're not really talking about the truth because we make time to prioritize things that are important. And so it's so easy to go into like blame outside of ourselves. Like I can't do it because of this, instead of owning it and saying like, no, this is my priority. These are my values. Family is important. So I block these times. I do deep focus work. I really appreciate that. And I think a lot of schoolers and a lot of people in general need to hear that kind of valuable insight, to really be intentional because it is so easy. I mean, as much as I love school, it also is very compelling and and I can see how it can become very addictive. So I'm
Yep.
super curious. Like I know it's in the building phase, but I'm really looking forward to trying School Connect and leveraging time. I mean, if anything, this is what the age of AI, I think we're in the age of transformation as a species, actually. This is what's
Yeah.
going to allow us to do to have more leverage and automation to, and also amplify authentic voices. I think if it's used properly, it can be huge to help creators, to help people who have important messages, to just reach people, and also give us more freedom and presence with those that are most important in our life, right?
Yeah, no, very, very well said. There's a book, The Sovereign Individual. And like the entire book's not that good, but there's a few chapters that talks about how through the entire history of mankind, thousands of years, there is no better time to be in control of your location and your time.
Mm.
But it's interesting because, as true as that is, if you get caught up in doom scrolling, if you get caught up in wasting your time and burning your time, there's a quote that people love to say that time you enjoy wasting is not time wasted. Yes, it is. Like, yes, it is because like we are called to spend our time bringing value. We're called to spend it with people that we love. We're called to spend it praying constantly, right? Like the word says,
Mhm.
pray continuously. And so, how many hours are we going to waste burning instead of using it intentionally? And so, yeah, I'm super excited to continue to build tools and to build things that can allow people, like you said, to be more present.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
It's so important. You know, this is, I talk a lot about what you just said, presence, I think is one of the undervalued things that we don't really recognize. I personally, I love people too. I love that you brought that up. Like I've always found people interesting, what even whether they think they're interesting or not. Like we're all such unique individuals that have such a unique story and journey that brings us to this point of our becoming. And I find that one of the most interesting things about humans is how uniquely individual our presence is,
Mm,
and it's juxtaposed to this need for connection and relationship. Like you said, like we're so socially integrated, like we're not really meant to live like wild people, independent in nature, like a great cat or something. We're really meant to be social, but we all have such unique presence and gifts and ways that we add value. So yeah, man.
yeah. Yeah. Very, very well said. And it's almost like a muscle. Like the more you engage in people and the more present you are, the more present you want to be. And I think that COVID had a huge thing to do with that because people spent so much time alone that now there's some people that are still trapped in that like need to want to spend time alone. I actually even like because like during COVID, you just kind of got like locked into building, you know, and so
Yeah.
it's very easy to fall either way. And you just have to be so intentional to continue pursuing people. And if you do, then that muscle grows.
So aside from like the deep focus work, do you have like a rising ritual that you do, or do you have like practices like meditation to keep you like rooted and also focused for that time, David?
Yeah, you know what? I used to have a really good morning ritual before my daughter
Yeah,
came.
I hear you, man.
Now I'm just up, coffee, and into it. I one thing that I have not let go is 1 minute of gratitude. I
Mm,
think that perspective is so powerful, and it's easy to compare, it's easy to get impatient, but every day for 60 seconds, I'll just thank God for everything that comes to my mind. And it's crazy because after that minute, the minute ends and you still find yourself
mm.
thinking of more things to give thanks to. And it changes my perspective for the entire day, every day. Um, that's one thing that I have not let go of. Aside from that, I try to drink water before coffee. I don't do it too often. Then, yeah, I try to spend intentional time with my wife and my girl for at least like 30 minutes before work every day. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, Ryan, you need to. Well, I'm not going to put anything on you, but you could write the book, "The 1 Minute Builder." You know, just the 1 minute of gratitude. I got to share something about
Writing
gratitude.
that
So
down.
I've been wearing this for a long time on our show now. More and more, I find I wear it. It was given to Julia from a healer. She had a profound experience, and it was right before we conceived our daughter. And yeah, a wonderful, very intuitive woman. And uh, she gave this to Julia, and she's like, I don't know why, but I have to give this to you. And then for every rising while Julia was expecting, I would get really early. Like I can be an early riser, like 3:34 or 4:30 usually.
And
And and I the first thing I would do, David, was I would for every one of these beads, I would go through the whole chain of them and I would just count things that I was grateful for. That was how I
I
started
love
every
that.
day.
I love
And
that.
it is such a we actually in our community, Light Her Vision, I still haven't built a good onboarding system. Like I am definitely, I have some things to learn from you about building a community, but we've had a lot of authentic people come in just from interacting with me in other communities, so they know who I am. But I
Awesome.
created a gratitude tune-up, an 8-day gratitude tune-up, because I really feel like gratitude is the window that opens up all their possibilities and all states of consciousness that are beyond our
That's
mundane
powerful.
ones. Yeah,
That's so powerful. Yeah, and it's so easy to forget, right? Like God does so many good things, but it's so easy to forget what he's done.
yeah.
And I feel like the more that you slow down to thank him, the more you remember. And it makes you more thankful, it makes you happier, and it even makes you way less stressed too. And so yeah, there's so much power in just being thankful. And not just being thankful, but taking time to actually like say it out loud. Like, Lord, thank you for the sunrise. Thank you that I'm up today. Thank you for this podcast, because you never know what seeds you are planting. And one thing that I truly, truly like trust is that no seed returns void. And so when you plant a seed, it will always grow. And you like might not see it yourself, but it will always grow.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, that is super, super powerful.
Thank you for that reminder, man. You reminded me too, like before the COVID and all that wild times we all went through, which I find not a lot of people like to talk about in these times. We went through this as a whole species. Like, but anyways, right before that, I was leading an Indigenous student center, and there was an elder who was the counselor in the center, and she said to me, she said, Nathaniel, the elders have always told us when the times speed up, it's so important to slow down. So thank you for
I love
reminding our audience of that. It's really true.
it.
Yeah. We,
Definitely, definitely.
like this idea of smelling the flowers, like that's too, when I was writing the memoir of our daughter's birth, I'm a creator in different ways. I'm more like visual arts, writing, music, and stuff like that. And I'm learning the tech
That's
because I
awesome.
feel like I need to amplify the voice. So I see AI really as a powerful collaborative partner, really in a way. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
as I was writing the memoir of her birth, and that it's all based on that one moment and Julie and I coming together, and I was inspired by this. Now I call it a community operating system, where it's called the Moment Home Miracle, and it's all about returning to this awareness of exactly what you said, that all these little gifts of life, like a seed, like you mentioned a seed. We like to think of miracles like these profound things that happen. And I've seen some stuff. I could tell you probably might not even believe me, but like I've had some profound spiritual experiences. And yet my daughter, growing from a seed and an egg, just like a tree that grows into, these enormous things from just, that little grain of consciousness, that little seed. Miracles are abound. They abound us. Like they're all around us all the time, but we can so easily get tunnel vision and focus on, okay, I got bills to pay. I got to go do the groceries. I got this to do, and the do, and become human doings instead of human beings, and especially being in the presence of
Yeah.
God, and just
Yeah.
appreciating, like, wow, this is an amazing life. And that's why I began the show with like asking you, if you remember what it was like when you were little, because I feel like these little ones, they are coming in with such powerful gifts, and they remind us of what it was like to just be in joy and just learn how to take your first steps and to explore even in a closet or something. Like there's wonder
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. No, that's so well said. And like it's so funny that you said that, because one thing that I always try to do now, and like not even to sound weird or corny, but whenever you see somebody, if you try to imagine what they were like as a kid,
Mm.
it breaks down any barrier that they have, right? Like whether they're shy, they might be shy. Because like even for me, like as a kid, I was just always so happy, and I was smiling, and I would dance, and I just had this like effortless joy to me. But as we get older, you kind of watch like like child's face, like, and it'll kind of become more like stale, right? Or it'll just, and to me, that's the saddest thing. And I look at my like daughter, and I look at my like nephews and nieces, and I'm like, I hope they never lose that, because there's such a wonder in their eyes. There's such like a sparkle in their eyes, and I think that that's why Christ calls us to be like children,
Yeah.
because like it just comes naturally. And yeah, I like really love that question, because it's something that we always have to continuously like remind ourselves of, yeah, to like drop whatever weight we have and drop whatever is heavy on our minds and just be.
Yeah. It's
um
so important. So important.
yeah, yeah, so really powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Well, and you know
yeah,
what? To me, it's a reminder
man.
what you
Well, hey,
said, like,
I really love how you
oh, I
oh,
think we had a
sorry.
lag. We had a
Go
lag there.
ahead.
More technical difficulties. You know, it's funny. We haven't had many technical difficulties on the show at all, and
That's
it's so
so
funny
funny.
because you're like the tech wizard, and all this stuff's happening.
Happens to us all, man.
I hear you.
No, hey, well, now it's just a like reason for us to like do it again. So
Yeah,
all
yeah,
good.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd love to have you on the show again, David. It's been such a pleasure, man. You reminded of how important it, like when you say iron sharpens iron, I think we ignite one another and we remind one another of the
Yes.
important purpose that we alone can do, but we do it together in community. And to me, you're
Well said.
a powerful example of that. And I know you're fairly new in school. We started around the same time, and I feel like we're welcoming each other, you know, into this new paradigm and shift. So I really appreciate
Yeah.
you, man. I often ask this before I let you go. I'd love to ask you if you could have a megaphone and talk to the whole world, and everyone could hear you all at once. What would you
Ooh,
share with everybody?
man, that is so difficult because words are so powerful. Um, Honestly, I would tell everyone that you are enough, you are loved, and never forget to look at the people around you. I think that it's so easy to forget the good around us, but
Mm.
there's so much good happening, like just for us to like wake up every day, it's such a gift. And so never forget how beautiful a sunrise is. Never forget to look up at the stars, because there's beauty all around us. And then really just to be present and love, because you get what you give.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful, man. So profound. Yeah, you've been such an awesome guest, David. I really look forward to getting to know you more and more. And
Likewise.
let our audience know, how can they find you?
Yeah, guys, you can find me school.com/BBC. I would love to like meet you all. I would love to chat with you all. I really do try to go through every single DM, every single comment, every single intro that I get. So please, guys, join, reach out to me. I would love to chat with you all. Nathaniel, thank you so much for this. It's been such a joy having you. I love what you're creating. I love what you've
Thank you.
created, and I love how you think. So
Yeah,
yeah, thank
appreciate it.
you. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it, brother. Blessings to you and your family. Maybe we can do a family show one day. I can bring on Luciana
Oh, let's
and
do that.
Julia. Yeah, that would be great, man.
Yes. Yes.
Speaking of which, I'm going to invite her to come on. So I'm just going to share my screen here. And Julia asked me to keep up the Christmas New Year's wish. So I think we're going to do it one more time for you, David. Just a special treat. So we're still kind of coming out of the holidays. So I'm just gonna mute myself now and ask Luciana to come send us off.
The moon is right, the spirit's up. We're here tonight, and that's enough. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. The party's on, the feeling's here.
We wish you a
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year! Can you say Merry Christmas, everybody?
Yeah.
Say it.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Love you.